CNBC had on the CEO of Goldman Sachs, Lloyd Blankfein, and they went after Bernie Sanders and his young, stupid voters, really.
Do you think that Wall Street or the business community should be worried about Bernie Sanders? Or is? I mean, when you see the comments, I'm just curious what the reactions. I assume you're backing Hillary Clinton?
Yes, you're assuming it.
Yeah. Okay.
Someone told you over in Davos not to assume that.
Not to assume.
I
don't want to help or hurt anybody by giving them an endorsement.
Exactly.
In this environment.
I would phrase it different. I mean, the young people in this country are supporting a socialist. So suddenly, socialism, we forgot that socialism doesn't work. I'm ready to fire all the academics at all the universities or send my daughter to Brigham Young or Liberty or something. I don't know.
It's probably a reflection of these people growing up after the financial
I'll tell you, you know what the best...
Well, I don't know what it's a reflection of, but socialism doesn't work real well, and people's lives aren't really improved by it.
Because socialism doesn't work, am I right? You know what I'm talking about? Hey, Dick Weasel, you are aware that Bernie Sanders is... he's really a believer in social democracy, or as he calls it, democratic socialism. And the countries that do that, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, these are all places that rank higher than us in terms of their healthcare systems. They rank higher than us in terms of their education systems. They have universal college, by the way, and universal education. Universal college and universal healthcare, if you didn't know. And they even have people that self-report being happier. They rank higher than us on the happiness index. And the list goes on and on. So this idea of, it doesn't work, by what standard, by what metric, what exactly are you referring to? How did you come to that conclusion? No, you don't have answers to that. You're talking out of your ass. You're saying, this is what I believe, so I'm just going to say this is the answer, even though I have no data to back it up. No, because in his mind, you know what he thinks when he hears, whoa, socialism? He thinks like the Soviet Union. He thinks of Marxism. We did this story the other day with Mike Huckabee, lecturing young voters as to how they know nothing about economics, as he ironically mistakes socialism for Marxism. It ain't the same thing, which is why I said that this guy doesn't know anything about economics or politics. And listen to him. He's like, it doesn't work. Wait a second. What just happened in the U.S. in, say, 2008? We had the subprime mortgage crisis and the Great Recession. Wasn't socialism that brought that about. No. It was your perfect, holy, free market, laissez-faire capitalist system where we deregulated and we let the smartest guys in the room on Wall Street do whatever they want. And then there was a gigantic crash. So don't tell me that, hey, socialism is the problem. No. In all seriousness, you have extremes on both sides where you can do pure laissez-faire capitalism that doesn't work. You're naive if you think that works. You don't know history if you think that works. That's what led to the 2008 crash. That's what led to the stock market crash and the Great Depression in the 1920s. Deregulation and cutting taxes on the rich. And then also, you have total government control of everything, Marxism. I don't think that works either. I don't think some flavors of socialism work either. But when you have a hybrid system, when you have a mix of socialism and capitalism, and you have a social democratic system or a democratic socialist system, that's what I like to call every modern nation in the world. So he's so smug, and you heard his answer. He's like, we got to fire all the academics. Brilliant, man. I'm sure that'll go over well, and you're not hurting people. You're not, making the country dumber. Literally, fire the academics. I might send my kid to Brigham Young or Liberty University. So send them to the places that are pathetic excuses for universities where they teach fundamentalist religion. That's your answer? That sounds shockingly similar to the answer of the Taliban. I don't want to know about economics. I don't want to know about politics. I don't want to know about history. I don't want to know facts. Teach me my religion and let me bask in my own ignorance and stupidity. That's what this guy's calling for. And then finally, they're talking to the CEO of Goldman Sachs. This is supposedly the financial expert channel, the business experts. Wait a second. If you're the business experts, aren't you supposed to be objective about this? Aren't you supposed to call it like it is and say what's going on in the economy and tell the American people? How am I supposed to trust you to do that when you're all buddy-buddy and towel slapping with the CEO of Goldman Sachs. No, this is CNBC 101, and this is why they piss me off so much. They're like, okay, let's talk about whether or not you should invest in Coca-Cola. And to make that decision, we've brought on the CEO of Coca-Cola. Tell us what your thoughts are on this. Gee, I wonder what the fuck they're going to say. It's basically free advertising for Wall Street and for multinational corporations. This isn't journalism. This is ridiculous. It's the opposite. And that's why on the so-called business expert channel, how many of them saw the crash coming? The subprime mortgage crisis and the Great Recession in 2007 and 2008? How many segments were there about how, it's over, there's going to be a huge crash? Zero. Because they're not journalists. They're doing propaganda for corporations and for Wall Street. The only person who got it right was a guest who they brought on to mock repeatedly. It was a libertarian economist named Peter Schiff. He knew we were in a bubble. Bill Maher also, by the way, at the time predicted we were in a bubble. Anybody who had eyes and knows anything about economics can say that. But when your job is to be the puppet of corporate America and Wall Street, you're not going to say that. You don't want to hurt their bottom line. They're your buddies. Lloyd Blankfein should be in a fucking jail cell, guys, because he is a criminal. This is why Bernie Sanders says fraud was the business model on Wall Street. That's exactly what it was with Goldman Sachs. They sold subprime mortgage packages to clients saying it was good, and then they turn around and bet against them, saying it's gonna fail. That's fraud. You pretended like it was a good product, and you bet that it wasn't a good product. You can't do that. If we really applied the law equally, all of Goldman Sachs would be in jail. Because somebody who goes into a convenience store and robs $27 and a Pop-Tart at gunpoint, they're going to jail for years. But if you do the functional equivalent of stealing thousands of people's homes from them and their mortgage, nope, no crime here. Why? Because they do campaign contributions. They own the government, so they get away with anything. And then they do hack segments where they lambast Bernie Sanders like he's the fucking problem. He's the solution. You're the problem.